Now we're going to get on to the subject of this particular class. For marketing mastery, we're going to be talking about the second and third elements in your. Here's the worksheet. Okay, so we've got another worksheet here. Today we're going to be talking about the symptom and the problem that your ideal client is facing. Who else did their homework for last week? The ideal client worksheet. Okay, you've got to remember you're investing in the program, okay? And to get the most out of this program, you want to do your homework each week. Take the time. It couldn't possibly take more than an hour, more like a half an hour. You could probably do it in about 15 minutes. But we had the ideal client worksheet last week, okay? Now remember, we showed you, can you go to this slide, Bob? Okay, we showed you an overview of what we're gonna do in the first module, the first week.
Technical difficulties on the
Right. Can you do it on the website?
Downloading the worksheet.
Okay. So this worksheet here, the message clarity worksheet, you have an overview of how to get a piece of marketing that's gonna attract your ideal client. Your ideal client is over here. He's right here. Okay. She, he, she. Yes. Okay. So whomever your ideal client is a he or a she. You got to figure that out. Are you marketing to a he? Are you marketing to a she? She's not going to respond to his marketing. He's not going to respond to her marketing, unless it's kind of like, you know, some kind of a gender neutral piece of marketing. But nevertheless, it's important to get specific, even on the gender. 40 plus. Executive women that are real super go-getters, and their symptom is they're feeling overwhelmed, and you have an executive vacation product. That's going to be my product. I'm coming up with the executive vacation product, so be looking at your executive vacation. So anyhow, so you want to get really super specific on your ideal client. That's what the ideal client worksheet is about. Super specific on your ideal client. So answer the questions on your ideal client worksheet. Take that time, right? And then when I see the answers on your executive client worksheet, bring it back to me. We'll put a star on the worksheet. Okay, we're going to give you a star for attending class so that we know you attended class, so you learn the material. But we're also going to give you a star on your worksheet. We're going to give you a star here. We're going to give you a star here. We're going to give you a star here, a star here, a star here, to show that you know that you've already done the work and you've vetted all these things out. So do your ideal client worksheet, right? And then we'll stick a star on your ideal client worksheet when we see that you answered it all. So you're thinking about your ideal client, okay? So today's worksheet, we're gonna go into symptom and problem, right? So who wants a symptom problem worksheet so they can do their homework? You wanna pop to symptom problem?
Should I hand those out? Or?
Yes, hand them out, but let's pop to the symptom problem worksheet. Or did you get a land it? That's pretty quick.
I only had it up there for a few seconds.
No worries. Do you have a slide for this one? Okay, so this is going to be you're identifying your ideal client's top of mind symptoms. I'm sorry about that, it's reversed on here. And the problem that causes them. So we're going to be going over the problem and the symptoms that this ideal client is suffering. You must need to know these because that's what's on their mind. If you don't know their problems and their symptoms, you're not going to get their attention in the marketing. So we have to get the problem and the symptom identified. So I'm going to go ahead and hand out the worksheet while Bob pulls up the slide. Okay, so Bob's going to pull up the slide. I'm going to hand out the worksheet.
Here you go.
All right. So your ideal client has no idea who you are. Your ideal client has no idea about your product, okay? Your ideal client might not even know their problem, okay? They might not know their problem. They are, only thing that's on their mind is what they're suffering, their symptom. If they knew the problem, they'd probably be on track to try to solve the problem. But they don't know their problem. They just know the symptoms that they face. All right. So let's look at the classic case of DyQuil right? And the DyQuil customer who's got a stuffy nose and their eyes are itchy and they can't sleep and they're sneezing and they're keeping their partner up in the middle of the night like sneezing and you can't sleep and they feel terrible and they got a headache and they're completely inundated with their symptoms. They don't know what the problem is. They just got symptoms. So they go to the Walmart in the middle of the night at 2 in the morning and they get some DyQuil or some Equate. The Equate version, the Walmart version of DyQuil, right? Walquill, whatever they call the DyQuil, the Walmart version of DyQuil, okay? Believe me, I know. I did this the other day when I had a problem. I didn't know what it was. I didn't know it was like strep throat or if it was just like, emotional processing or something, but I felt like I was swallowing swords every time I breathed. I couldn't swallow. I couldn't do anything. It was awful. It was horrible. Okay. And then I remembered this stuff that I used to love when I was a kid that my grandpa always kept around his house called Chloraseptic. And I was like, oh my God, I need some of that stuff. And I went like 2 in the morning. I'm at Walmart. I found the only 24-hour Walmart in Albuquerque. And I went and got some of this stuff, the Equate version of Chloraseptic. I remember the name of the product from when I was a child. I remember how it tasted like cherries and made my throat numb. And then I could swallow water, a little bit of water. And that meant the world to me, right? I didn't care about my problem. I wanted these symptoms resolved, okay? You know what the problem is, right? The DyQuil company knows what the problem is. They're not even gonna solve the problem. They're gonna sell a product that resolves the symptoms. That's all that matters. So this is why this is so important. These companies know what they're doing, so why don't we? Well, now we do, okay? We're going to discuss the symptoms, okay? Now these symptoms can be calibrated. The people are gonna be suffering symptoms in the areas of what are known as the mega niches. They're gonna have some symptoms in the area of wealth, whatever it is. It's gonna be interfering with their ability to make money or enjoy prosperity. They're going to be suffering something in the area of health, like their ability to even get out of bed or swallow water, or even, they might be eating to resolve a problem, like to cover up an issue, right? They might know what the issue is, so they just go to the fridge and eat. They might have some unresolved emotional issues. They might have, right? Or I'm just throwing examples out there, okay? If they're distracted by their symptoms, it's probably going to affect their relationship somehow, their ability to have fulfilling relationships with people, and they're also going to be suffering in the area of time and lifestyle, right? And so when people are suffering symptoms, they're going to get up at like 2 in the morning in their underwear because they can't sleep. These are called top of mind symptoms. What's keeping them up at 2 in the morning? And they're going to get up in their underwear, they're going to get on the computer, and they're going to type into Google their symptoms, right? Stuffy nose, runny nose, whatever it is, relationship issue, whatever it is that you got, it solves the problem. There's a symptom that's associated with it that somebody's going to be up at 2 in the morning somewhere in the world Googling. Ava raised her hand?
Ava raised her.
Okay, what's Ava's got? Ava's got a question.
Let's see. Can I chat with Ava? If you have a question, Ava, can you type it in the chat?
Okay, Ava, type your question in the chat. Okay, so everyone that's out there, okay, like I've had websites that sold stuff, right? Books, training materials, little different odds and ends, right? I have found I get more orders after midnight on my info products. Strangely enough, Sunday after midnight. And I have a theory on this from years and years of observation. People work for a living. They work throughout the week and they search for what they want. They don't buy because all their money's been spent. They're waiting for their paycheck on Friday. They get paid on Friday. Okay? Has anybody noticed there's not a whole lot of Facebook activity on Friday after 3 all the way through, say, Sunday about noon? Okay? It's because they're spending their paycheck. They are working for the weekend. They're not going to be on Facebook, right? They're going to go out on Friday night, spend some of their money. They're going to go shopping and run errands on Saturday. That's why nobody's on Facebook on Saturday, or anybody's on social media using the internet on Saturday. Okay, they've got a budget. They're spending all this money, but the stuff they were looking for during the week, they're going to make sure they save enough from their paycheck that when they get back to their internet on Sunday and they're ready to start their week Monday, that they buy the stuff that they were holding their little their reserve for from their paycheck after they ran all their errands and everything else. They're going to have a little bit left over, and before they start the next week, they're going to buy their stuff. So shopping happens on Sunday night. Internet shopping starts coming in Sunday night. So emails going out on Sunday afternoon, people are going to read those. And if there's a reminder about the product, right, then they're going to buy Sunday night. Before they go to bed, that way they've got it there waiting for them. They can use it throughout the week while they're working through the next week. All right? But you got to remember there's the symptoms out there that people are suffering. And you know, we get more into like the timing of when to send emails and all that stuff. But if you understand, people are creatures of habit. Everybody's working in regular cycles, and there's certain key times and places that they are using the internet and that they're making purchases, and they're using the internet at 2 a.m. to look up what's bothering them. So if you focus in on you find your ideal client, and then you start thinking about what's bothering them, then you'll know. You will have a window into their world and what they're doing at 2 a.m. in their underwear. They're looking for your product. And this is where we want to be able to help you actually dial this in, okay? So the symptoms are what's on their mind. The symptoms are not the problem. You need to separate this out because we're talking about, you've heard about marketing with benefits, leading with benefits. And then you introduce the features. This is part of the 5 essential elements of the sales sequence. So when you're leading with benefits, all right, then you're affecting the emotions and the brain chemistry. And if you can relieve the suffering in their mind, right, by giving them endorphin rushes, not endorphin, the dopamine rushes in their brain, little happies, little yes, this is it. This is what I was looking for. Okay, that's what we're talking about here. Then you're going to be creating the correct emotional response, and they're going to be able to. Then they're going to have to convince their mind that they don't want it, or their mind's going to have to convince them that they don't want it, and then you bring in the features. So the mind says, "Well, that sounds like a good deal. I could afford that for you, heart." Right? So. By addressing the symptoms, you're talking about the benefits. And then we go over into, you know what the problem is. You are the provider. You know what the problem is, but if you lead with the problem, you're leading with features. If you lead with the symptoms, you're leading with benefits. And these address these two categories of features and benefits. The symptom is what is on their mind. The problem is what's on your mind, right? You've got to lead them into the product based on the symptoms. Then you can educate them on, well, that's not really the problem, people. The real problem is this. You've got your kids in public school, and they're touching all the other kids who are sick, and they're bringing germs home to you, and they're wiping boogers on you because they're not washing their hands. That's why you got a stuffy nose and you're up at 2 in the morning at Walmart getting NyQuil. It's because the kids are in public school and they're touching all the other kids that are snotty and got sick and down near sick because the kids, that's the problem. It's because the kids aren't washing their hands. So you might have a problem, or you might have a program on how to help parents discipline their children better and have a better relationship with their children and learn them how to have some etiquette and some cleanliness. So if you got a program that has to do with parenting and children and training children to be clean and mature and aware and conscientious and have etiquette, right? You could lead with, how come we got a stuffy nose and you're up in the middle of the night at Walmart looking for NyQuil? That's not really going to solve the problem, because it's going to happen next month too. And then it's going to happen next month again. And what you want to do is eliminate this problem altogether by showing your children how to wash their hands and keep their hands to themselves when they're at school. Is anybody making the connection? You guys making the connection on that?
In my program, yes.
Okay. It's a completely two different realms. 2 in the morning at Walmart looking for the Equate version of NyQuil, and the children at school, and whether or not they're actually like being conscientious and washing their hands and and not playing wipe snot on each other at school. Right? But if you got a program that helps parents discipline their children, you could come at this other angle over here and find customers that are not anywhere near shopping for a children's discipline product. They're shopping for NyQuil, but the real solution is a children's discipline product, a parenting relationship product, right? So once you start understanding your clientele and what their symptoms are, then you can calibrate that to the problem and your product. So that's what this particular worksheet, identifying your ideal clients' top of mind symptoms and the problem that causes them. Now, I encourage you to take the 15 minutes this week to, if you want to sell your products, if you want to build your products and build your marketing, do the worksheets, because at the end of the 4 weeks, we're going to have a workshop. And in the workshop, we're going to take throughout the program, we're going to take this overview worksheet. You're going to write your ideal clients, who he or she calls himself here. You're going to write your symptoms and your problems, or your symptom and your problem. Then you're going to write your ultimate end result you give and the desired outcome they want. And you're going to fill in all these things. And then we're going to take this and we take these criteria. And in that workshop, we're going to build a piece of marketing that is going to speak. It's going to enter the conversation, participate in the conversation that's in your client's mind. You're going to have a piece of marketing that is going to bring people to you. And this really, really works. As soon as you have that piece of marketing, you can pitch out on social media, and people are going to be taking your call to action. Go, hey, that sounds like me. This person really gets me. That's what we're doing here. There will be a complete piece of marketing that you can bring people to you at the end of this first module. It doesn't matter who you're trying to get to. You need to dial in specifically on who you're trying to get to. And once you can dial in specifically on who you're trying to sell to and what's keeping them up at 2 in the morning, what they're Googling in their underwear at 2 in the morning, then they're gonna find you, because it's like, oh, there it is. That's what they Googled. There you are, right there in their face. Rebecca's got your twinflameguide.com. I wonder how many people have broken hearts that are tossing and turning at 2 in the morning, getting up at 2 in the morning and Googling twin flame reading, twin flame relationship. And she's the only twin flame guide in the entire planet. Who do you think they're going to find when they Google at 2 in the morning, my twin flame broken heart, won't he come back? Twin flame. They're going to find her. She's going to pop up and she's going to be in the first place position, and boom, they're going to take her call to action because her website's got the 5 essential elements of the sales sequence in it. So if you want to be able to get through to people and not be just at the bottom of an ocean of generic websites, then you have to do this process. This process has been vetted out by experts in the industry who make more than $1 million every single time they launch. And they launch 4 or 5 products a year. So they're turning multi-millions of dollars, and they're showing us how to do this right. So this is how to do this right. So that is my presentation for Marketing Mastery for this Momentum Mondays. identifying your ideal client's top of mind symptoms and the problem that causes them. Flip to the next window. Okay. Whatever, Mike. Okay, so
You want to show that other sheet one more time?
yeah, this one, yeah, this worksheet one more time.
It's a really good worksheet. By doing it like for the third time.
I'll make
You get it now.
Getting so much more clear about it.
Okay, Rebecca says that by doing this the third time, she's getting so clear about this. Okay, after you do this a couple times, it just really starts making sense, and it's almost like you're just reading their mind, and it's like you're having a conversation with them in your mind, so that like they start hearing the conversation before they ever see the marketing, because it's already there. And when they see the marketing, they go, "Wow, this is exactly what I was thinking." And then they take the call to action. The next thing you know, you are in this conversation with them. But it has to be in the language that they are speaking, that's in their mind. It can't be the language that's in your mind. You have to change your language to their language, right? You have the language of the provider in your mind. We'll get to that. You're going to drag them into your world. But first of all, you've got to get in their world. You got to understand how their mind is thinking, right? When you do this, then you stand out from everybody else who's out there. Go ahead and flip it back to me. Everybody out there who's preening. I have a website, and it's all about me and my product and my experience. And can you see me? Isn't my website pretty? Isn't that a great photo of me? Right? You see where I'm coming from? Okay. All right. Do we have any questions on the chat about this from our remote members before I hand the media back over to Bob for his section of the class?
I see Tanya has a question. Any product or service they will look for on Sunday night? What's going on Sunday night?
Any product or service they will look for on Sunday night? Probably because they got to get back to work on Monday.
Oh.
Unless they're one of these unemployed entrepreneurs that's got all the time in the world and they can look at Google stuff in the middle of the day. But people that have a day job, right? Sunday night's kind of like the time they're finishing up like their shopping. And they might be Googling something at 2 in the morning on Tuesday, because Monday is like, oh God, I'm back here again. So they get that problem again. So you can get Tuesday night at 2 in the morning, they're going to be up in their underwear Googling their situation again. And then they might try to follow a trail throughout the week, and they're planning on buying something on Friday. Like when they get their paycheck on Friday, they've already got a chunk of that paycheck in their mind cut out to spend Sunday night. And I've watched this pattern happen consistently for years with my information product. So I say, just recognize people are creatures of habit. You'll start figuring out the patterns but just think about work week and how they think throughout the work week, right? Oh, I hate Mondays. Okay, I need my coffee. This is why we got Momentum Mondays. It's like, let's get together and let's get our heads straight so that we can have momentum all the way through the week, right? Because people are creatures of habit. What if we had this class on like Thursday? You think you'd be what would your week be like if you didn't have your marketing, your Momentum Mondays, and your epiphanies, your aha moments? If you had to wait till Thursday for your aha moments and your tribe and all of that, right? So we're starting first thing Monday morning. This is our people. We're getting together. We're having an aha moment. I could just have a new, fresh perspective on conquering this work week, right? So that your weekend is just like chill and smooth. So it is about cycles. It is about brain chemistry. It is about the way that people think and the patterns that they. So if you start recognizing these patterns and start slipping your stuff in between the cracks so that it shows up, right? Then you're going to get results. You get much better results. I'm very impressed right now about how many people are attending class. Welcome, Danny. You came in a little bit later, but he's with the program right now, and I commend you. I have something for you, Danny. I need you to come up here. Danny's been with us, a member in good standing for at least a couple of years now. So I'm going to present you with your official ABQ lapel pin, Enterprise of Accredited Professionals. Yay. Okay, so there you go. The number on the back, what number is it? On the back.
2018, 10 of 20.
2018, 10 of 20. Danny's got number 10.
I got number 10.
All right.
All right. 10. Okay.
Thank you
Thank
so
you very
much.
much.
All righty. Any other questions from the room here? Very well then. You have a question?
It's a much
Dorinda?
longer discussion. I think there's real art between looking at symptoms and then discerning the actual problem based on the symptoms.
Well,
Yes.
it's,
And business addresses. So anyway,
what is your business?
it's energy and spiritual education consulting.
Okay, spiritual education business. Okay, so is it that there's,
Interconnection,
there you go. There's a problem. People lacking in interconnection.
self-loyalty, over-responsible.
Self-loyalty, over-responsible, people lacking interconnection, basically extroverts rather than introverts. They're not caring about themselves, but they're caring about other people. Okay, so there's a problem there. You've already identified the problem. Now, what are these people suffering is a symptom I find to be more difficult to get into because that's what's happening in their world. You got the
They have
problem.
pressure, emotional blocks, time crunches, anxiety, questions about the meaning of what they're doing. I mean, they get really involved. in
Yeah, you got it.
others and then go, oh, where am I in this?
You're doing good. You're spot on.
Maybe depressed,
Mhm.
depressed, maybe anxiety disorder, depressed.
Yeah, I got,
And-
stress disorders.
Yeah, stress, anxiety, depression. They're just overdoers for other people, not caring about themselves enough. They need to get reconnected internally. Right. So they're disconnected internally is the problem. They're suffering anxiety and other stuff like this is their symptoms. So yeah, you got it. You're on. Very good. Okay. So I believe that's going to be my part for the morning here, and I'm going to turn the media over to Bob so he can show you how to use your equipment.
You want to hand out the worksheets live?
Yeah, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come by and I'm going to give you guys stars on your worksheet for and on your attendance for stars on your attendance.
I need a microphone closer to me then.
Thank you very much, Bob the Builder. Now,
Thank you.
Bob the Builder. Come on, Bob. Okay.